Beat the Odds, an NFL gambling show here with BTO Media. It is week 4 in the NFL. It's flying by. Bo, we are going to go through our expert picks. We're going to play Punt or Profit. We're going to do the 2-minute drill, and we're going to break down and give predictions on the Sunday night and Thursday night football games this week. Bo, I am super pumped for week 4. Week 4 looks great on paper. How are you doing as we get set to make some picks here?
Dude, I'm great. We had a lot of close games last week. There are a lot of blowouts too, but a lot of close games that came down to it in the fourth quarter. A lot to look forward to this week as well. We got our first out of the U.S. game besides that Friday night game in Brazil. It's in Dublin this week, Vikings-Steelers, so that should be a fun one. It's a lot of football. Let's get to it. And college football too. A lot of college football this weekend.
A lot of great college football. It's a great weekend. If you're into the golf, you got the Ryder Cup. I won't be interested, but I will be locked into all of the football. And, of course, the baseball heading down the stretch as well. Bo, very quickly, that Monday Night Football game was incredible. I mean, I could not believe what the Detroit Lions were able to do to the Baltimore Ravens in that game. They pushed them around up front. They were able to do whatever they want. They had 2 95-plus drives that led to touchdowns in the game, and it was just a thrashing of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that Lions offensive line carried them through those 2 95-yard drives. I think they were like 11 minutes each or something like that, like 10 minutes each. Crazy. Lions killed them. They came in with a game plan, though, and they didn't back down. That offensive line can do numbers on people, and we already know that this Ravens defense is not it, especially later in the game. Our parlay, our Monday Night Football parlay, not something we should be talking about right now. We went 1 for 4. So how about we just move on?
We'll move on.
Start a new week.
It's a new week. We're feeling better. We're feeling great about ourselves, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to move into our expert picks here because, Bo, you are currently leading 4-5, as it is on the bottom of the screen here. 4-5 with 11 points. I'm 3-6 with 7 points. So you're in the lead. You can either defer to me, or if you want to take the kickoff this week and you want to start, this is up to you.
I'm kicking off. I mean, no, I take that back. I'm deferring to you. I wanted to kick off, but I switched my mind. So
okay,
you go first.
I'm going first.
You might need it first.
Wow. You know what? Maybe changing things up is going to be good for me. Maybe that's what
is
going to change things.
No chance, buddy.
I just want to let everybody know I'm not losing a game this week. My 1-point pick this week, the Atlanta Falcons plus 1.5 at home against the Washington Commanders. Teams to close as dogs after losing by 30-plus points since 2003. They are 117, 78, 8 against the spread. That is 60%. And if you go back just to 2020, it's 25, 14, and 1 against the spread. We saw how bad this Atlanta team played last week against the Carolina Panthers. They're starting to feel some heat in Atlanta. I think this is a good spot for them. You're facing a Commander team that's banged up. You know, the running back room we know about. Terry McLaurin may not be playing. We still have questions about whether or not Jaden Daniels is going to go and how healthy he is. So Atlanta at home getting points. I love it. Give me the Falcons plus the 1.5.
I'm so glad I deferred, because guess what my 1-point pick is, Mike? My 1-point pick is Commanders plus 1.5 against the Falcons in Atlanta. You know, I like this for a couple of reasons. I have
the plus 1.5.
I'm sorry, I meant minus 1.5.
Okay, because this slide may flip, and I thought it flipped,
switch.
But I checked. I didn't see it flip.
Right. Okay, so my 1-point pick is Commanders minus 1.5. This could easily be 3, 4, 5-point range, especially after last week. We don't know about Jaden Daniels. You're right. We also don't know about T-Mac, Terry McLaurin, but we know about this running offense. They are the second best rushing offense in the league. They're the second most rushing yards per game. And this is the Falcons have the second worst scoring offense. So obviously they don't score points. They lost in a blowout like 30-0 last week against the Panthers. Against the Panthers, you can't give me that as a feasible response for that. Why this team should be getting 1.5 points in covering that spread. There's no, like, I would take this Commanders team -3.5, -4.5, even with Marcus Mariota and no Terry McLaurin. This team sucks. This Falcons team is not what we thought it was at all. Believe me, I'm all for Michael Penix and Drake London. I drafted Drake London in both leagues this year. I'm regretting that so much already. And if they can't stop this run, the Commanders will just run it down their throats. Their O-line has been impeccable so far, and have opened up so many holes and opportunities for the running backs to get through. So, Commanders -1.5 in Atlanta, in a away game against the Falcons. I would take that 3.5 if it were the case.
Wow, we're against each other again.
I love it.
I love it. See, this is how you know it's not scripted, because we're not. I don't know his picks. He doesn't know my picks. And here we go. We move on to my 2-point pick. The Los Angeles Chargers -6.5 versus the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. Jim Harbaugh has faced 4 rookie quarterbacks since he's taken over as the Chargers head coach. He's 4-0 straight up and against the spread in those games. Jim Harbaugh is one of the best coaches against the spread in September and October. In September alone, he's 14-6-2 against the spread. And if you add October into this, 28-10-2. So also, Herbert is great on the road. He's a great quarterback on the road, excels on the road. 27-16 against the spread in his career on the road or neutral site. I love it. I love this Charger team. I was all over the Chargers prior to the season. And of course, the elephant in the room here, the Giants are starting Jackson Dart. I love this Charger defense and secondary. And if you look at what the Chiefs secondary was able to do to the Giants last week, the Giants had nothing open. The Giants couldn't do anything offensively because Steve Spagnuolo and that defense came together and said, we're going to confuse the hell out of a veteran in Russell Wilson. And that's exactly what they did. I can only imagine what this coaching staff in LA with Jim Harbaugh is going to be able to draw up for Jackson Dart this week. Sure, does Dart open up the field a little bit for them? Is he more athletic? Of course. The playbook's open as well. It's more open than it would be if Russ was starting. But this Charger team is going to play great defense. They may not score many points, but I don't trust the Giants to score. This is an ugly game. This is 17-3, 17-6, and the Chargers get the win.
I'm in complete agreement with you there. I think going against Steve Spagnuolo and their Chiefs defense one week, and then the next week you have to go against Jesse Minter and the Chargers defense. Yep. You got Derwin James, you got a stacked D line. It's impossible. There's no chance for the Giants to win this game. 6.5, yeah, I think that's a little bit generous too. I think it's only 6.5 because the Giants are at home. You know, if this were in LA, it'd probably be 9.5, 10.5. You know, you get that 3-point swing. I like that pick, Mike. I was going to take them, but I wanted to change it up because I've taken the Giants games, I think 2 or 3 weeks now.
Yeah,
so
picking against or on the Giants a little bit too much.
Right. And
this
I
is
just
the second time I'm picking against the Giants, and I don't feel great about it because it's a very chalky pick. It's a very, very chalky pick. But I just can't see a world where it doesn't hit.
Yeah, I like that. Well, moving to my 2-point pick, we have the Dublin game. Vikings -2.5 at the Steelers. Technically, it's not a home game. I mean, it is a home game for the Steelers, but they're in Dublin. So the 2.5 is very good to take. That's one of those bets you want to go with when it's technically an away game for everybody. Steelers haven't covered in 7 of their last 8 games. You also have defenders like Alex Highsmith, who's out. We don't know about some of their other defenders that could be injured, like Joey Porter, I believe, and a couple other ones in there that we don't know what's going to happen yet. But Alex Highsmith is declared out. That's a big loss for that Steelers defense. There's 2 main reasons why I like this, other than them not covering the spread. The Steelers' main game is the passing game, right? Aaron Rodgers in the pocket has been awesome. With pressure in his face, he's able to throw the ball downfield. They have a great red zone offense. I think they're like 7 for 8 in the red zone. But the Vikings have the 3rd best pass defense. And we saw their Vikings defense last year. We also saw it last week when Isaiah Rodgers had 2 touchdowns and a 99.9 PFF grade. So that cancels out their strength. And then obviously Jordan Mason against this awful Steelers rush defense. That is going to be a huge thing to watch, especially with no JJ McCarthy. It'll be Carson Wentz. Most likely, I think that's for sure now, right?
Yeah.
Carson
Yeah,
Wentz
it's
is
gonna be
okay.
Wentz.
So Carson Wentz is the starter. Jordan Mason's going to have a lot of touches as he always does, but he'll be helping that out, helping Carson Wentz out. Their O-line has gotten better. We're waiting for some injury news on their O-line. For them, hopefully they get everybody healthy, which it looks like is going to happen. Vikings minus 2.5. If it changes to 3 or 3.5, I don't feel as confident about it because this Steelers team is pretty good. But minus 2.5, I like it.
Yeah, this is how you really know we don't tell each other our picks. My 3-point pick, the Vikings minus 2.5. Favorites have excelled in international games. They are 36-13 straight up, 32-18 against the spread. You saw an Aaron Rodgers-led team last year against a Brian Flores-led defense. This game was, I'm pretty sure, in London. It was the Jets and the Vikings, and Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions in that game. You know, when you are on a neutral field, it really is about who the best team is, who has the advantage in most spots. And I think the Vikings have the coaching advantage. I think they have the weapons advantage. They have the advantage on the offensive line. And the defense, I don't think the Steelers have a massive advantage on defense. And I love Brian Flores. I think he elevates that Vikings defense to a different level. I don't care that it's Carson Wentz. You know, the Vikings were able to blow out the Browns in week 3, and they didn't show much on offense because of all the defensive scores they had and turnovers they had. So I think this is the week where they're able to actually open up the playbook a little bit for Wentz. I think Kevin O'Connell will do a great job. The running game, like you mentioned with Mason, will be strong. Give me the Vikings minus 2.5. I think this game could get out of hand at some point.
No, I agree with you, obviously, but this is pretty funny. We have 2 of the same picks. Yeah, I think Vikings are going to kill them. It's tough to imagine that the Vikings don't do what they did last week again against the Steelers. I don't know. We'll see how Aaron Rodgers does with all this, attention and pressure. You mentioned his last performance in London. This one's in Ireland. It's in Dublin. We'll see what happens. I really like this Vikings team, though. Minus 2.5 was a little bit of a surprise. So we'll take that for sure. Now to my 3-point pick. Tonight's game, Seahawks minus 1.5 at the Cardinals in Arizona. That's my lock of the week. And Mike, I'll mention real quick, I haven't lost a 3-point pick yet. I'm 3-0 with 3-point picks. That's how I have, 4 more points than you with only 1 more win. So my 3-point pick, my lock of the week, Seahawks minus 1.5 at the Cardinals. The Seahawks have one of the best defenses in the league right now. We knew that kind of coming into the season. The secondary would be amazing, but their D-line is awesome too. Byron Murphy II is a beast. He can generate a lot of pressure. One way to stop Kyler Murray and running quarterbacks is pressure in the face. Contain him in the pocket. Have a QB spy out there. Dude, Kyler Murray's fast, and he's not something you want to mess with. So if you can contain him, especially when he'll be looking to run all over this team with no James Conner, now you have Trey Benson and Amari DeMercado. I think those are the 2 backs now. Yeah. James Conner's a big loss, man. He's a power back. He's in the end zone just about every single game. The Seahawks are the only team who have not allowed a rushing touchdown yet. And with James Conner out, that makes it even easier for them. The Seahawks also only allow 1 sack per game. So they're giving Sam Darnold time in the pocket to go to his receivers like JSN. And then obviously Cooper Kupp, who hasn't had amazing games yet. He's been productive, but he hasn't been obviously what he was when he was with Stafford. The Seahawks are giving up the 2nd least points per game, and they're also scoring the 5th most per game. So, I will add in there too. The Cardinals haven't played good teams. They played like the Panthers, the Saints, and then they were 2-0 against the Cardinals and Saints, or the Panthers and the Saints. And then the Niners last week they lost, which they should have won, to be honest. It was an awful game. So they're 2-1, and their team doesn't reflect that, especially with James Conner out. So Seahawks minus 1.5 is the lock of the week for me. Hoping to go 4-0. I think it'll happen.
4-0 on 3-point picks. That's what he's trying to do. The Seahawks on Thursday night. We love it. I'll give you a run through of mine, but we'll give you a run through of his. and then we will move on to punt or profit. My 1-point pick was the Atlanta Falcons plus the 1.5. My 2-point pick was the Chargers minus 6.5 on the road against the Giants. And my 3-point pick is the international game this week, the Vikings minus 2.5 against the Steelers.
Me and Merlot, we think alike. I have the 1-point pick is Commanders minus 1.5, so I'm taking the opposite side there, but the same game. My 2-point pick is the Vikings minus 2.5 at Steelers, which is Mike's 3-point pick. And then my 3-point pick is Seahawks minus 1.5 at Cardinals. That's tonight's game. That's Thursday Night Football primetime matchup.
Prime time matchup. Bo, let's move on to punter profit as we get set to read some of these bets that we have seen. A couple of good stuff. One, I think, will make both of us mad.
Oh.
And then we will play the 2-minute drill where we try and create a parlay in under 2 minutes with random props from the Sunday games, excuse me. All right, Bo. Jeremy Horowitz has a few bets in this week. He's like the Falcons plus 2.5, the Vikings minus 2.5, the Eagles minus 3.5, and the Cowboys plus the 7. A couple of those lines have moved. We obviously talked about the Vikings and the Falcons, so I won't go there. I want to start with the Eagles. The Eagles are playing a game in which they haven't won in a very long time. The Baker Mayfield and the Bucks have had the Eagles number, especially in Tampa Bay. This is like the third straight year now they're playing, and the Eagles haven't won there in a few years. And this line is 3.5. Obviously, no Mike Evans for the Bucks. I think the Eagles are finally going to have a big week in Tampa Bay, and I think they're going to win this game by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. They got it going last week against the Rams, which also they should have only won that game by 1. So the finals point spread in that game a little weird just because of Jordan Davis's touchdown. But yeah, Eagles, Bucks, like this Bucks team is really good. They can pass the ball over the field, and they got Bucky Irving in the backfield. Their defense is a huge question for them, though. If they can't, if they let AJ Brown get going, and of course Saquon Barkley, it could pull away real quick, especially in Tampa when the Eagles are coming off a very commanding win against the Rams. So Eagles, if they didn't get it going last week, if they lost to the Rams, I obviously would have taken the Bucks in this game. But they showed signs of life in that second half. They got AJ Brown going finally. Jalen Hurts had an awesome game.
Yep.
I hate going against Baker and the Bucks, especially in Tampa, because I love Baker Mayfield. But man, I can't go against the Eagles right now. I don't think they've lost a game in the last 16 with like their core 4, like Devontae, AJ, Jalen, and Saquon.
They haven't lost a game in like a year when Jalen Hurts finished the game. They lost the game last year to the Commanders, but Jalen Hurts got hurt in the second quarter, and the Commanders ended up winning the game last second, by the way, with whoever the backup was at the time. Not McKee, the Pickett last year. So
right.
They have won these games that Jalen Hurts plays in. I think they're going to win this one too. You also have to remember the Bucks. First of all, Baker's a little banged up. He from week 2, he's been banged up. And then think about this: you have a team that's won games on last-second field goals basically every game this year in the Bucks, or last-second touchdowns.
Right, they've all been
happen.
Yeah, they've been fourth quarter winning drives,
right?
Or game winning drives 3 games in a row.
It was the field goal, touchdown, field goal. It's not gonna continue to happen. That's not. They're getting lucky. I'm not saying they're getting lucky at the end of these games, but they're going their way at the end of the games.
Right. Yeah. What was the other one in that? It was. We're not going to talk Falcons, but what was the other one?
Cowboys plus 7. We'll talk about that when we talk about the Sunday night game.
Right.
We'll save that. We'll push that off. Garrett has the Raiders and the Rams this week. Rams, obviously, minus 3.5 against the Colts. That is in LA. And then you have the Raiders, who are at home, and I think this is plus 1.5 right now, if I had to check.
Raiders are minus 1.5.
They're minus 1.5 now. Okay. They went down to minus 1.5. They're at home against the Bears this week. I don't have a feel in either of these games. I'm not going to lie to you. I do lean Rams because I just can't see Daniel Jones and the Colts covering another spread. You're going into LA. You're playing a really good defense, a pissed off team that lost a game they probably should have won, that they blew in Philadelphia. So Like, I trust that defensive front of the Rams to get into Daniel Jones's face, but Daniel Jones and the Colts have proven everybody wrong, including myself, week after week, and it would be tough to bet against them.
Yeah, I think if I really had to, because I was thinking about taking this game for one of my picks, and I was going to go Colts plus 3.5 because I like the half point over the 3. It's one of the best offensive lines versus probably the best defensive line. So that's an entertaining matchup. It all depends on what Daniel Jones does. Yeah, in LA, it's tough, though. This Rams team is pissed off, but this Colts team has been one of the best teams offensively and even defensively. So the only thing that I would chalk it up to, the Colts haven't played amazing teams. The Rams have. And the Rams cover / should have won those games. And, that's not going to happen every week either. They're not going to lose every single game that they should have won. So I would still take the Colts, though. I would still take the Colts plus 3.5 just because I like that 3.5. I mean, if it were 2.5, I'd go Rams.
You're getting the hook. You like the hook.
I like the hook.
I get it. Very last but not least. Definitely last but not least. CJ Muscanero likes Jackson Dart over 2.5 interceptions and the Chargers alt line minus 20.5. Trying to get a little little reaction out of us there.
Yep. I mean,
you want to respond?
I do. I think Jackson Dart will at least throw one interception. I think that will happen. The spread, not going to happen. I don't know. This Giants defense got tired in the Dallas game, obviously, but I don't know. It's just trying to piss us off, Mike. Just trying to piss us off. So I do see an interception, at least one happening for Jackson Dart. It's going to be confusion. I don't think it'll be his ball placement. Or maybe, Malik won't run in like he did last week. Maybe something weird will happen and the communication won't be there. There's no way the Giants win this game. So I don't even think they cover. So
the alt line actually doesn't look that bad. 20.5. All right, that'll do it for Punt or Profit this week. Please make sure you check out the BTO Gambling and BTO Media Instagram page for the Punt or Profit graphic if you want to be featured on the show. We usually post this segment each week. It's fun to see what the people like, not just us, but what the people like as well. So make sure you check that out and comment what your favorite bets are for the next week. All right, Bo, time for the 2-minute drill. We are going to spin a wheel. We are going to get the number. We are going to have to make a parlay with those odds or higher. Here is the wheel. Here we go. When I say go, I need a timer, Bo. Okay? You make sure you have the timer ready. Here's the wheel. Let me steady it for us. What is that? 73? 73. So we need to be plus 730 or higher on this parlay. Bo, please hit the button. We will start now. And we are looking. Only the Sunday games, excluding Sunday Night Football, of course. This is what we do every week. We've come close. We've gotten to 3 out of 4 on this, and that's about it. So we need to hit this.
It's tough because not all player props are open yet, but we will see what we can do with that. And you know what? I'll start us off. I'm going to go in that Vikings-Steelers game that we both like.
Yep.
Jordan Mason, over 83.5 rushing yards. That's his line. We said it before. Steelers' terrible rush defense. Jordan Mason's a beast, and this O-line will help him out. I think he'll get the ball. I think he'll probably go over 90 yards. So 83.5 is nice.
83.5 rushing yards, Jordan Mason. Awesome. I will take Omari and Hampton 60-plus rushing yards in the Giants game for minus 156. That'll be mine. Jordan Mason.
Okay. We got a minute left, by the way, so we're on pace.
I have my next one already.
Oh, let's do it.
Saquon Barkley, alternate rushing and receiving yards, 100-plus. I will take that at minus 122.
Okay. So that's 3. We have time, so we're not in a rush right now.
I'm putting it in right now to make sure we hit it. So you just let me know what your bet is. And
okay. I think the final pick is in. I don't have a number. I don't have an over/under line yet, at least on FanDuel, because that's the sports book that we are basing these lines off of.
Yes.
But I will go in this Bears-Raiders game. I will take Romo Dunze 60+ receiving yards. I'm assuming his line is probably around 63, 65, whatever.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'll go 70. We have
70
seconds.
plus?
I'll go 70, just so we can get to that 7,300.
There we go.
Or plus 730. So we don't know exactly what those odds would be, but we're hoping it would be plus 730. I like this one, Mike. This one's pretty good.
Feeling good about it. We're feeling good about this. Let me write down Rome here. Rome 70 plus. And we will get that parlay out for you on a graphic on our Instagram pages ASAP. Excited for that. I will bookmark that when those odds come out, and I will place that on Sunday morning like I always do.
Yeah. I'm just going to go over it real quick, Mike, just so we have it together. Yep. We have Jordan Mason over 83.5 rushing yards. We have Omarion Hampton 60+ rushing yards against the Giants. We have Saquon rushing and receiving yards 100+. That's his alt line. Is it his alt line at minus 122? Because you're getting minus money on that.
Yeah, no, it's minus 122. It's an alt line. It's an alt line.
And then Romo Dunze 70+ receiving yards against the Raiders. So that's our 4-leg parlay.
Awesome sauce. But let's move on to the Sunday night game. We're going to make a Sunday night parlay as we get set for Packers Cowboys in Dallas. This game feels a lot lesser than it was because of obviously the CeeDee Lamb injury. CeeDee is not going to play in this game. He's probably going to miss the next 2 weeks. I'll give you this stat before we start and give you our picks for our Sunday night parlay. Home underdogs of 7+ or more in early season games. Games 1 through 9 cover close to 60% of the time the last 20 years. I would side with taking Dallas here, but I don't feel great about it. And I don't feel great about it, especially with the wide receivers on the Cowboys side. I mean, we're throwing the ball to Turpin and Jalen Tolbert, and obviously George Pickens. I don't feel great about this. How is this Cowboys team going to be able to move the football against a good, solid Packer defense? I'd be a little worried. That's why I'm not even coming close to betting this game, but I will give a couple props. And, Bo, I think you should start us off.
Okay, first I'm going to say, though, siding with the Cowboys on this, plus 6.5, it's got to be like 11.5 for me to even think about this. I know the Packers lost in terrible fashion last week, but, like, come on, Mike. I'll start us off. I will say Packers have the best scoring defense. Cowboys have the worst secondary in football. I think that's a known fact now. So I'm not going to take any Cowboys props. I do like any sack prop for Green Bay if your sportsbook has that. So if you can get any sacks, I don't know, whoever. Pick a defensive lineman on the Packers because I think they're without Tyler Booker this week, their rookie guard. And their O-line's banked up in general. So anyways, I'll give you my 2 picks right now. I'll go over 42.5 receiving yards for Tucker Kraft. He's been a beast. I think his prediction is like 53.5 or 58, one of those 2 numbers. So 42.5 is a pretty low number. I like that over. And then Jordan Love over 1.5 passing touchdowns. That's also his line. I think that's pretty easy.
There we go. Wait, what did you get Jordan Love at? Excuse me.
He was over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
Okay, perfect. So we don't have the same thing for Jordan Love.
Okay, good.
My picks for the Sunday night parlay, I will go Jordan Love 200+ passing yards at minus 250, and Tucker Kraft 4 catches. Tucker Kraft should be back from injury. He had the big game, obviously, on Thursday night against the Commanders. I think this Packer team will be able to throw the football on this Cowboy defense. The secondary we know is very poor. You saw what the Giants were able to do last week. 2 weeks ago, you saw what the Bears and Caleb Williams were able to do in week 3. So I will take the receptions over for Tucker Kraft, and Jordan Love will be able to air the football out big time. Give me those 2.
Yeah, we both like Tucker Kraft. We both like Jordan Love. It's pretty simple this week, to be honest. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's going to be an interesting parlay to put together. Before we get out of here, we have a Thursday night football game, and Bo already kind of basically broke down the game for us and told us what was going to happen and how could we bet against Bo when it's his 3-point pick and he's 3-0 on 3-point picks. But I actually had the same sentiment. I just don't feel as strongly about it as he does. The Seahawks have dominated the Cardinals over the last few years. They're 7-0 straight up. They're 6-1 against the spread since 2022. Kyler Murray's 2-8 straight up and 3-7 against the spread against the Seahawks in his career, going back to 2020. So it has not been good for the Cardinals and Kyler Murray against the Seahawks team. The Cardinals are banged up in their secondary, obviously lost James Conner. I think it'll be easy for Sam Darnold, and they're going to slow the game down, make things easy for Sam Darnold, and I think they're going to win the game, and I think they're going to win it by a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it could even be more than a touchdown, to be honest. The Seahawks defense is for real, man. Like we talked about before, they have the second least points per game given up all season so far. This secondary is for real. This defensive line with Byron Murphy, the second, highlighting it right now. He's for real. This whole team is for real. Even their offense. Sam Darnold finally got it going last week. A little glimpse of what he did last year with Kevin O'Connell. Their O-line is also really protecting him. They're only giving up 1 sack per game. So to be honest, I really don't think the Cardinals even have a chance in covering this, but also in winning this game. Cardinals pass defense sucks, as you mentioned. Their secondary is banged up. I don't know. I mean, like it's pretty simple in my eyes that the Seahawks -1.5 is the pick. I think JSN will have a big game. So if you want to bet any props tonight, JSN touchdown. I got him at +160. I don't know if that's changed, maybe a little bit. And then his receptions are at 6.5, a little bit low, to be honest. So the only exception to that is that they might not be passing the entire game. They might just be running it down their throats. So we'll see what happens. Let's check where the money is real quick on this game. So 78% of the money is on Seattle. 76% of the bets are on Seattle. So, and maybe that's why you side with Arizona.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's scaring me. That's the only thing that's scaring me is that everybody is on the Seattle tonight. So, but I think they're actually on the right side. So we'll see what happens. Bo, a great episode here in week 4. We will be back Monday live to give you a reaction to how we did on Sunday and preview both the Monday Night Football games this week, the Jets and the Dolphins and the Broncos and the Bengals. So 2 Monday Nighters this week. We'll be back to break those down and give you our reactions to week 1. Bo, I will see you next week. We'll see you on Monday and enjoy all of the content the rest of the week and weekend from BTO Media.